Hello and welcome to the Luv Doc podcast with hosts Waldo Wachewski and Ophelia Brewski.
Today, we're tackling something I think a lot of people can relate to. It's a relationship challenge from the Luv Doc advice column. Pretty well known for being quite direct.
Oh yeah, definitely pulls no punches.
So we have this letter from someone who calls themselves the negativity sponge. Oof.
Yeah, that name tells you a lot already, doesn't it?
It really does. They describe being in this long-term relationship, but it's getting really drained because their partner just complains constantly.
It's a tough spot.
Our mission, then, is to really get into the Luv Doc's advice here. See what the takeaway is for handling this dynamic, and maybe answer the sponge's big question. How do I get her to think positively?
And it's compelling, because it's not just about this one relationship problem. It touches on that bigger question of influencing someone else's mindset, especially when they seem really stuck in negativity.
Right. Can you make someone be positive?
Exactly. And the Luv Doc's answer is this interesting mix of, tough love, some historical nods, and real insights about happiness, and, frankly, the effort involved in relationships.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics from the letter. The negativity sponge. They say the relationship started back in 2019.
Okay.
Then, COVID happened, they lived together, fighting increased. The usual pressures, I guess.
Right, that put a strain on a lot of couples.
Things apparently settled a bit when the sender went back to the office in 2021, but the partner, still at home, kept complaining boredom, annoyance, that kind of thing.
Okay, so the complaining didn't stop, just maybe shifted focus?
Seems like it. But then, the weird part. In 2022, the girlfriend goes back to the office too, and the complaining actually gets worse.
Oh, interesting. You think maybe that would help?
You would. But no. For the last 3 years, it's described as this daily routine. Listening to her unload about problems, conflicts, grievances.
It's constant stream.
Yeah. The letter says the partner's line is always, nothing nice ever happens to her. And the sender admits it's just really exhausting. It's affecting their own happiness, their feelings about the future of the relationship. They want support, too. It feels one-sided.
Understandably. That sounds incredibly draining.
So that core question again. How do I get her to think positively?
What's really fascinating is how the Luv Doc kicks off the reply. They kind of flip it, jokingly asking why the girlfriend isn't the one writing in every day.
Huh. Like monetize the misery.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Saying there's money in those yarns of sorrow. But then the tone shifts. The doc actually commends the sender, saying, good on you for looking for a real solution instead of sucking the spirit out of other people with incessant whinging.
So acknowledging the effort the sender is making.
Exactly. And setting up this core problem. There's just no easy solution for getting someone to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. You know the song.
Right, the Bing Crosby tune, Johnny Mercer.
That's the one. The doc even throws in a little trivia about Mercer, Judy Garland, Capitol Records.
Huh.
But the point is, the idea of just swishing to positive thinking is catchy, like the song, but actually doing it or getting someone else to do it, much harder.
Okay, no easy solution. That's kind of bleak if you're the negativity sponge, right? You want to fix.
It is a bit of a tough pill to swallow, yeah.
Holy crap! You're psychotically obsessed with the Luv Doc, but can't think of a flashy gauche way to share your obsession with the world? Stop thinking and make a beeline for the Luv Doc's home sweet home on the interwebs, thepleasurecraft.com, where you can find a veritable treasure trove of sick merch that will make even your coolest friends super gel. Honestly, I don't know why you didn't already think of this yourself, but you're welcome. Have fun on the Pleasure Craft. It was made just for you. Let me spell it out for you one more time. www.thepleasurecraft.com.
Yeah.
So if just telling her, hey, be positive, isn't going to work, what does the Luv Doc suggest? This is where we get to the real meat of it, isn't it?
It is. It's less about direct orders and more about modeling, active modeling.
Modeling? How so?
Well, the doc really pushes back against that idea of just telling someone to cheer up.
Yeah.
They bring up Willie Nelson, actually.
Willie Nelson. Okay, where's this going?
Calls him a big fan of positivity, who really has it figured out. The point being, you don't get a house on Maui by sad-sacking it all the time, at least not in real life.
Right. Success doesn't usually come from constant negativity. Makes sense.
Exactly. So the critical insight the Luv Doc offers is this. You can't tell an inherently negative person that negative thoughts produce negative words and negative results.
You just can't tell them.
No, because, as the doc says, telling people stuff is rarely effective, just like this column. A bit self-deprecating there.
Huh. Okay.
But it really shifts the focus, doesn't it? Away from instruction towards something else.
So if telling is out, what's left? what can the sponge actually do? It sounds like a lot of work.
Oh, it is. And the Luv Doc acknowledges that, acknowledges how exhausting it is to always be the cheerleader, the sunshine, the smiling face against all this negativity, calls it the fucking gig.
Wow. Okay. Blunt. So just suck it up. That's the advice.
Not exactly. It's acknowledging the reality of that support role, but then it pivots. It goes deeper into this kind of philosophy.
Okay.
The doc says, every day is hard, every day is scary. There is no rest in this relentless grind unless you allow yourself to rest.
Allow yourself.
Yes. And there is no happiness unless you allow yourself to recognize and appreciate the people and things that bring you joy.
So it's putting the power or the responsibility back on the individual, even the one listening to the complaints.
Precisely. It reframes it. You can't force her happiness, but you can cultivate your own ability to find rest and recognize joy, even when things are tough.
That's actually quite empowering in a way. It
Yeah.
feels less helpless than just being a sponge. So how does that translate into action for our letter writer?
Okay, so here's the concrete part. It's challenging, definitely. But instead of focusing on changing her, the Luv Doc says you, the sponge, should make it a point to bring home one positive thing in your day to talk about when your girlfriend goes negative.
One positive thing, so like counter-programming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a subtle shift, an active counter-narrative. You're modeling a different way of processing the day, not lecturing her about it.
Okay, I see. Show, don't tell.
Right. And then, to make this feel less abstract, the doc actually gives the sponge a little gratitude list, things they do have.
No, like what?
Well, a girlfriend who, despite the complaining, stuck around through hard times like COVID. That's something. Both partners having jobs, a place to live. Living in Austin, which the doc calls easily one of the top 20 cities in Texas.
Okay, little local humor there.
A little bit, yeah. And finally, just living on planet Earth, literally the only inhabitable planet in the solar system.
Can't argue with that one.
The point being, there's good stuff. There's a lot to talk about if you shift your focus. It gives the sponge actual material for that one positive thing.
Yeah, that reframing, looking for the good stuff even when it feels buried under complaints, that really resonates. For me, the biggest takeaway from this Luv Doc piece is that core idea. You can't tell someone to be positive. You got to show them. It's that active modeling, bringing that one positive thing home. It feels like a real practical step, even if it's small.
Absolutely. And the Luv Doc is very realistic about it. They call it a slow grind.
Right. No magic wand.
No. They explicitly say it might not magically fix everything overnight or even at all. But importantly, they end with this little bit of encouragement. You got this.
I like that. It acknowledges the effort.
It does. It highlights that building positivity, whether it's in yourself or trying to foster it in a relationship, it's ongoing work. It's definitely a marathon, not a sprint.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? This whole Luv Doc reinforces that, yeah, supporting people we care about is part of the gig, as the doc put it. But our own well-being, our own ability to find joy and rest, that's something we have to actively allow and recognize.
You can't outsource that.
Definitely not. So maybe the question for you listening today is, how can you actively show the positivity you want to see more of, either in yourself or around you? And maybe just as important, how do you make space to actually notice and appreciate the good things, especially when life feels like that relentless grind?
To read the column that spawned this podcast, go to austinchronicle.com/columns/the Luv Doc. There are probably worse things to do with your time, right?